I have a huge amount of mixed emotions right now when it comes to this game, Donkey Kong Bonanza. It just came out recently, just a few days ago. And you know what's crazy? On launch day, when I saw all the reviews talking about the game's, like, you know, their perspective on it, and it got a bunch of 10s and 9s, I wasn't surprised at that. And I was very happy. I was like, okay, as expected, this game looks peak. It was really fun when I played it at the Nintendo Switch 2 event in London. Had a great time, and I was like, okay, this is the game I'm the most excited for, outside of Mario Kart when that game came out. But when the reviews came out, so many of them decided to compare it to Mario Odyssey. That was like a huge point of contention, I feel like. And it's kind of funny because in the marketing, Nintendo kind of downplayed it. They mentioned it in passing, like after like one of the preview events or something. But apart from that, they really didn't push like, from the creators who brought you Mario Odyssey comes Donkey Kong. Like, that was not part of the marketing at all. I don't think it's healthy to just compare games to games, but like, you know, as humans, we love comparing. Like, that's just something we're fascinated by, is comparison of like, oh, graphic comparison. You know, you see it all the time in the game industry and just video game discussions and video game politics, as people like to call it. But one thing which I really didn't like that much is people like saying like, oh, it's not as good as Odyssey. Oh, comparing it to like Odyssey Shadow. This game is so much more than Mario. And I understand, like, it's not just Mario as well. One of the first opening areas in this game, arguably, and not even arguably, it does reminisce and look very, very similar to Tears of the Kingdom. But besides that, this game feels like nothing else I've played. It feels like a Donkey Kong game. And I think that's, reading the interviews of the developers and just playing this game, I feel like they achieved it. I feel like this is probably one of the best games I've ever played and will continue to be one of the best games I've ever played. This is an all-timer. I feel like as time goes on, I'll have to figure out and see if this game ends up being my favorite video game in terms of like my favorite 3D platformer. In terms of favorite video game, you have to obviously take into account nostalgia and all that stuff. But man, people growing up with this game, if you're young or you have someone young in your life and you want them to make some memories or just have a passion for video games, have them play this game. This is like one of the coolest experiences you will ever have. From start to finish, it is brilliant. Now, for me, right, obviously it's technically, as much as you wouldn't believe it with how frequently I post and how inconsistent I've been over the last 2 months, apologies for that. Surprisingly, talking about video games is kind of my job. It's part of my career a little bit. But with how busy I've been over the last couple of weeks, I sort of switched off that mode of me. For me, for the last couple of weeks, all I've been doing is learning. All I've been doing is doing game dev because, you know, I want to understand the art form more. I want to get into the art form. I want to make my own game one day. And I want to make my videos better across the board in terms of quality. And I feel like the only way of really advancing that now, after like learning 3D and stuff over the last year or so, is getting into game dev. And so I've sort of been in that mode recently. And I think with how immersive and just how much fun I was having with this game, I completed it. I haven't 100% completed it, but I got to the credits, and like that just goes to show like I was so addicted and immersed in this game that's all I wanted to do. Obviously, part of that is I didn't want to get spoiled, and don't worry, I'm not going to talk about spoilers in this video whatsoever. But I can't deny part of it was just I was having too much fun, and I was just like, this is so cool. This is so much fun. I love the smash. I love the donk. Like it's just such a great experience, and you know what? I still want to keep playing. I still want to do it. Part of me is thinking about just doing a speed run of this. I don't usually speed run games. I feel like I could easily sink hours into speed running this game from start to finish, because what's so cool about this compared to Mario Odyssey? Look at me comparing already. Well, look, everyone's comparing it. I'm gonna have to, right? If everyone else is comparing it, I guess I'll join in. You know, if you can't beat them, join them. I'm such a hypocrite. We're talking about this right now, but hear me out, okay? In that game, going from one area to the next, I don't really like. I think it's a case of it being allocated to the moons, and the fact that different moons have different variables in value sort of, I don't know, diminish the experience overall or something. It just doesn't feel that special in terms of doing it. It feels more like a task or a chore. In this game, what's so cool and fun is that the golden bananas you collect, I don't think are even necessary. The purpose of them is for upgrading your abilities, you know, and using the skill tree. And that is so cool and useful and fun and freaky that I feel like the motivation is to, you know, get stronger and get faster and stuff. There is a real like underlining sort of motivation when it comes to that. And most Nintendo games, they usually don't like that. You know, Nintendo are known for being like, oh, you only want to play this game because it's a joy. It's a joy to play. Look at Tears of the Kingdom, for example. I was so deflated that once I did some of the missions of the underground and I just got costumes, which were in the previous game, like recycled costumes costumes. And that really deflated the experience when I think, oh, that's a shame. But the whole idea is like, oh, well, it's fun. That's why you're playing it. You're doing the shrines because they're really fun. Like, sure, you get like a small reward. If shrines are a bad example, but in Tears of the Kingdom, you have those examples of moments where it's supposed to just be fun for the sake of it, even if a reward isn't worth it. Or like, look at the Koroks, right? Like, sure, at first it's to get the biggest spots in your inventory, but the overall reward of 100% completing it usually isn't that much. And even look at the recent Mario Kart World, which they just put out. In that game, pretty sure if you get all the P-switches, you don't get anything, right? And that sort of, for some people, diminishes the experience. So having those motivations like, oh, you'll get a skill tree, like that is the most like clear example of that, where it's, oh, it's a skill tree. Oh, like, of course you're doing that to upgrade yourself and get stronger. It feels so satisfying, and I think they really nailed what you can and can't upgrade and just what the upgrade abilities are. And just for progression, I feel like you could just skip all of that if you wanted to, just play through the main story, do the main objectives, and even that would be so satisfying and cool. And I don't know, guys, it's just the game feel and like the motivation behind you playing is so satisfying, on top of just the satisfaction of playing as Donkey Kong and destroying the world. Because you've seen people who have just been like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and destroy every single little crunch of a world, just go through and do that, and like that's super satisfying and super fun. So it's like the whole, I guess, thesis of this game is just satisfaction. Like, I feel like it is so satisfying to play this game, and like the controls, they feel a little bit weird to start, I feel. And I think one thing why the first few levels feel specifically like maybe not as fun as later levels is because they really just want to introduce you to the concepts. You know, they want to get you accustomed to the controls and stuff. So it gets so fun with what they do with mechanics as the game progresses, and it's unbelievable. All I want to do is go back. I just want to go back and play this game, but I was like, you know what? Before I play the game again, I should probably just get my initial thoughts just a couple days out of playing this game and then go in and talk about more specific things which I really like. Because one thing which I do love, for example, is the animations. I could go into detail about all these little attention to details they have, or the UI and stuff. It's just, the art direction for this game is so fun, especially the enemies. I feel like the enemies in this compared to Mario feel kind of gross at times and kind of like, like they have this really different feel which just makes this game feel so distinct compared to anything else. And it's, I think this is just a perfect video game in my opinion. Obviously, people have been complaining about the camera. Oh, the bosses are too easy. Oh, and something else, or what is it, the frame rate? I don't care about any of that. Yeah, sure, the camera got annoying like once or twice, but it never like ruined the experience whatsoever. It's a nothing burger point. And I feel like same thing goes for frame rate. The frame rate is perfect 99% of the time. So whatever you do, whatever games you're into, get this game. You'll enjoy it. It's 100% worth it. It's so fun.